All right. Can someone please let me know if the audio is coming through and so that we can start? All I need from you is just comment and say, yes, you can hear me. And then we will start. Maybe I'll write a comment here. Hello? I want one of you to give me a signal that you guys can hear me. Just say, yes, we can, and then we will start. I just don't want to talk to myself, right? Can someone give me a thumbs up? No? Yes. Thank you, Vishnu. All right. Go ahead and introduce yourself, who you are, and just let me know a little bit about you. I would like to know about my audience. I want to make sure we connect, and so that also whatever information you can provide me, whether here or offline, about who you are, what you do, that helps me then figure out the new trainings that I have to offer on these. So I do these free trainings on regular basis. I'm doing every Thursday around this time. I might change the time depending on what the requirements or when people can join. So if I get requirements from you guys and saying, hey, we can't make this time or this time will be better. So depending on the demand and time, I might change this. But for now, it's 10:30s on Thursdays. So make sure to join Optisent Academy so that you can be notified about these free trainings. The URL is in the comment for this training. You are looking at me now, merman. All right. I am looking at you. Cool. Oh, I am. Yes. Well, you are looking at me too. So today I want to go into Google Data Studio, right? So Google Data Studio is a data visualization tool. What I'm going to walk you through today is how you can get started. If you don't have any experience with Google Data Studio, or even if you have a little bit of experience and you try to play with it, but can't quite figure it out, then this training is for you. I'm going to walk you through the steps so that you can feel confident after this training to start using Google Data Studio. I would love to see what you come up with after you've gone through this training. Now, before I go ahead and start the training, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and give it a thumbs up to this video. If you don't like the training, you can take your thumbs up away, but go ahead and like it so that people can be notified as well. There is a training going on. The more, the merrier. Um, and also, I want to just do a little bit of sales pitch, which I do in the beginning, which is we have courses, which if you are familiar with digital analytics, digital marketing, and just want some courses, then we have a package which is all access pass. You can get that pass and can get access to 25 plus courses, lots of live recordings, my conference presentations, my corporate presentations that I do and charge thousands of dollars for. You can get that in the package. And if you are not into digital analytics or kind of do not know where to go, you need some hand holding, you need some practical experience, you possibly need some internship and experience in that, then I have a Become a Digital Analyst program where I will train you to become world-class digital analyst. I have trained thousands of people on that program, including my teams, where I used to run these teams and build these teams in various agencies, even like a company that I started 10 years ago, where I hired people with no experience, built, took them through these type of training. Of course, training has evolved to include new channels, new tools, etc. But that's the same process I go through. You get practical experience in that. You will be working on a real business in this experience. So something that you can go ahead and put on your resume as well. So that is called Become a Digital Analyst. And the next session will be running in January. So I run it only 3 times a year, and might be changing it to 2 times a year to get more students in both those 2 batches. But that's a program. And I will also give you a coupon for becoming an insider, which is not a Become a Digital Analyst, but the full access to all the courses I have. All right, with that, I'm going to start with this training. Now, I'm going to also read comments. So if you have any questions, any comments, feel free to write to me. When I turn around, that means I'm looking at the other screen and looking at questions. I want to make this interactive. So unless you give me those questions, it's not going to be interactive, right? I can only speak and walk you through certain things, but then I need questions from you. I'm not going to be covering every single aspect of Google Data Studio because it is vast and there are so many nuances like any other tool, but enough to make sure everybody can understand, not go too deep into it. Those things are covered in my course, complete course that's available in the membership. So here, Vishnu, I'm a data analyst looking for advanced GA training, A/B testing, and Google State Data Studio. Cool, Vishnu. Yes, we have all these courses, advanced Google Analytics, even Google Analytics 4, which is a new beast altogether. I have done a video on that, and I have developing a course that's available right now. You can start to learn right away. Not everything will be done for months to come because it's changing and there are too many things that can that you need to learn. So I'm building those content. But we have A/B testing courses are there, Google Optimize and Google Data Studio courses are there. Merman, thank you for the opportunity, and called my analyst, and a letter called my analyst. All right, thank you. I hear you. Yes, cool. All right, we're ready to now dive into Google Data Studios. So I'm going to share my screen, change the share screen right here, and go into Google Data Studio. To get to Google Data Studio, you simply type in datastudio.google.com. Once you're there, you will be able to see a screen that you're seeing, something like my screen. This all might be blank for you, but this is all my reports that I have created. And a bunch of these reports are in the full course, like tips, tricks, advanced topics are all these in the course itself. You can even track Google Data Studio in Google Analytics, and that's what it is here. That's also in the course. What I'm going to walk you through is a simple step of creating this report. So once you come in here in datastudio.google.com, then you will see this interface, right? Where you have certain templates that are provided by Google, and you can pick those templates to start with. However, I suggest not to start with those templates. The reason is, before even you go into starting Google Data Studio, and which is not many, I don't think any Google Data Studio training talks about this, even Google's. First thing you have to do is really understand why do you want to do this and what are you trying to show your users, your stakeholders. That is number one. Step number one is understanding why are you creating a report? What's the story that you want to tell? Unless you are clear on that story, then you can't create a good visualization. A lot of people come to me and say, I build these reports. And even like my clients, we build these reports, Nobody pays attention to them. Why? Think about, you're sending this to somebody, right? Some of them might be for you, some of them you're sending to stakeholders, say marketing managers, maybe CEO, maybe merchandising manager, customer support manager, whoever, that team, right? They get bombarded with so many other reports, plus they have their job to do. They can't pay attention to your report unless it speaks to them. What I mean by speaks to them is it answers their question, right? Or questions, whatever. If they have multiple things they want to know, those things need to be answered. Putting bunch of metrics and charts and graphs is not helping anybody. It takes time and it's not providing them the information they need. So step one, this is I teach in my analytics program. Step one is understanding their business goals, objective. What are we trying to achieve? Then define the right type of measures, KPIs, key performance measures, metrics, whatever you need to support the story that you're trying to tell. If it's a merchandising manager, they need to know how their merchandising is doing. They don't care about your bounce rates, right? If you're, I'm assuming you guys are all familiar with Google Analytics. If not, then that's step one. Or if you're not trying to be in Google space and you are trying to do reporting for others, maybe financial or something else, try to understand, what are we trying to tell with this? What is the story I want my users to know? What do they care about, right? If my goal is to drive users to the site, that's all I care about. If my goal is to drive sales of products, that's what I care about. CEO does not care about bounce rate, new users, repeat users. They might just care about the revenue numbers or profit margin, right? CRM guy might only care about the customer lifetime value, what attributes we have for customers. Again, they don't care about new users. They don't care about what pages are being viewed. Email marketing manager, on the other hand, wants to know their email performance. So understand this. Putting them all on one report is going to do you disservice, and you will get disappointed. Nobody is going to pay attention to your report. So number one, understand the objective of the company, understand the objective of your stakeholder, understand the metrics that you want to show them, what kind of visualization will work for them. Those things have to be well thought before you even dive into Google Data Studio or Tableau or any other visualization, right? That is number one. So once you understand that, then you come in and start your reporting. Other way these reportings can be used is for your data analysis. That's a flip of that. Like, okay, one is you know why you are doing this, for who you are doing this. Second is you want to dig deeper into the data. For that, these reports, whether it's Tableau, Google Data Studio, and I have a Tableau course as well, if somebody is interested in that, because that's also widely used. Whatever that tool is, you place your charts, graphs, and bunch of numbers to analyze your data. Most of the digital analysts are used to looking at Google Analytics, right? We look at the reports, those are canned reports. I can tell you the landscape is changing. So if you're just used to looking at Google Analytics canned report, you are going to be in trouble. Why? Because Google Analytics is changing the way it does stuff. Big thing in Google Analytics 4 is analysis. That's the hub. That is where you configure your reports. And those reports are definitely configured based on what audience want, what you want to learn. And then they're also sending the data in BigQuery. BigQuery means you have to learn SQL. If you can't learn SQL, then learn a tool like Google Data Studio, because then you can bring in and conduct your analysis. So keep that in mind. Just looking at Google Analytics canned report is not going to help you. You need to start thinking in a different way. How do you conduct analysis? What kind of tools will you need? And Google Data Studio is one of them. So my team, like we have done, is we have a person in the team who goes and sits and plays with the different charts, reports to find insights. And that's what they use it for. And then finally they find insights, then they build a report that goes out to the stakeholder, telling the right story that we want them to understand and hear. So Storytelling is a very key part of your data visualization and analysis. Feel free to send the right questions here so that I know if this is making sense or not. And if not, then I will uh, provide more insights. All right, to create a new report, you click on blank report. That launches you into the report builder. In the report builder, first thing you have to do is connect to the data source. There are a bunch of data sources already, or the data connectors are already available for you. Google provides those, like Google Analytics, Google Ads, Google Sheets, BigQuery. Those are right on top. These are the most used one from Google's standpoint. Why? Because most of the people using Google Data Studio are using Google Analytics or these two. These are going to be critical for you. You have to understand how to connect with all of these. And then you have other sources as well, as you can see down here. Many third-party connectors are also available. What they do is they allow, like even Adobe Analytics from Supermetrics here, what they allow you to do is connect to the data source so that you can get the data in Google Data Studio and then create your charts. Keep in mind, Google Data Studio is keeping a connection to those data sources. So it's not a data storage place. Data is stored in those places. You're just doing a connection. So I am going to show you Google Analytics in this training today. So click on Google Analytics. Once you do that, then you see all your accounts that are available in your, that you have access to. I am going to use Google Demo account. If you're not familiar with Google Demo account, then let me give you a brief overview and then you can see how you can connect to it. There is a video on this channel, as well as in all my courses, I talk about how you can get access to it. But Demo account is a Google merchandise store. So it's an e-commerce store where Google sells merchandise, Google branded merchandise, mainly for their employees and their friends and relatives, but anybody can buy them. And Google has made that data available for you to learn from, right? So you can go in and learn all about Google Analytics, what they're doing, etc. So that's what I'm using here. Click on the property that you want to connect to. And once you do that, now it's giving you views. In Google Analytics 4, there is no concept of views. It's only property. And then everything else you do within that property. However, in Google Analytics, it's views. Views are just view of your data. You can write filters and create those to get certain set of data. I am going to be using master view, which includes pretty much all the data. Once you do that, click on add. Now your Google Analytics is connecting to Google Data Studio. You get this, click on add to report. And Google Data Studio is going to give you a default chart. As soon as you make that connection, it gives you one chart that it thinks will be useful for you, right? It thinks, not necessarily what you need. And this is a table format. You can select this and move it anywhere you want. Just keep your mouse down by selecting and move it anywhere you want. There are a lot of controls within Google Data Studio to align these charts and stuff. So that's your chart is right here. Now, before I go into anything else, I'm just going to take a few minutes to walk you through this interface. In this interface, you have this main area, which is where the chart is placed, and you can place all your charts, numbers, whatever you want right here. On your right-hand side, you have a data connection panel, right? It shows you what data you are currently connected to. So you have a data source and what dimensions. Dimensions are the categories of your metrics, right? The text-based content. So for example, page title is a dimension. And then you have metrics, what numbers you want to show for those. So you have a page and you're showing new user numbers for that. Then you have a bunch of other controls here if you want optional metrics, metric slider, etc. I'm not going to go through right now. And then how many rows per page do you want? And then you have default date range. What date range is this data for? Default date ranges last 28 days, excluding today. So today's data is not going to be there in this view. And you can do any comparisons, any filters you can add, and any segments. These segments are coming from your Google Analytics. So if you want to see data for a particular segment, you can add that as well. Filter is a way to remove certain set of data or only see subset of data, right? Any questions so far? I'm gonna let this sink in. Not rocket science at this point. Nothing is rocket science in Google Data Studio. It's just understanding how it works and then navigating. You need to know the navigation. All right, so that's about data panel. Next to data panel is also style. So if you click on style, you can style this chart. There are a bunch of metrics that are a bunch of ways you can style it. You can choose the font, colors, etc. Again, I'm not going to go into details of each of these, but you can figure it out like any other tool. It's there for you. On top, you have certain menu options that you should become aware of. One is you can add other data sources to your chart. So let's say if you want, in addition to Google Data Studio, Google Analytics, you also want to bring in Google Sheets or Google Ads or YouTube. You can click here and then add another data source. Once you bring that data source, then you have to connect and make sure you're connecting them at the right point, the two data sources. That's one. Then you can add a bunch of charts. So here is add a chart. There are different types of charts that you can add to this report. And we'll go over those in a few minutes. Then you have any, community visualization. So these are the charts that are provided by the community, by even like Data Studio or some third parties. You can use those as well. So they have figured out there are certain things like metrics, dimensions that you need to provide, and the chart will show up. Then you have controls. These are the controls that allow your users to see the data that they want in the format that they want. And I will show you those as well. And you can embed a URL. If you want to embed a web page in there, you can do that as well. You have image. So let's say if I want to put a logo, I can just do upload from this URL and I can pick the logo that I want. And that's my son's pictures right here. But let's say if I go and download and I want to bring this here, and now Google Data Studio, that is available, right? Generally, you'll want to put a logo of your company to show, this is what this data belongs to. Then you can have certain shapes. So let's say if I want to draw a line, you can simply draw a line right here, and that's it. So all these things help you kind of format the data the way you want. I'm not going to go through this. Oh, let me just show you one more thing. If you want to undo anything that you just did, you can click on this undo and that thing will come back or will go back. To delete any component, just select it and hit the delete key. That's it. So if you want to delete any of these, you can just simply go ahead and delete those. And here you have it. Okay. So there are themes and layouts. So I'm going to cover that as well. Then you have certain things here. When I added this data source, it got added to this report in this chart. That's the source. You can take a data source and attach it to a chart, to a page, or to the whole report. So there are several elements here. There is a chart right here. This is the page. To add a new page to the report, I can simply click on add a page. And now page 2 of 2 is shown. And now I have 2 pages in this report. So I can click, go back to page 1 or page 2. So if your report has a story that you want to tell, first story is how are we getting the users? How are we acquiring them? Second page is all about customer engagement. Third page is all about customer retention. Then you can have 3 pages. Or it might be, hey, how is our campaign doing? It's all about cost. Second page is all about users' interaction with the site. Third is all about ROI. or the future. Where are we going and what are we seeing? So you can have multiple pages by just simply clicking on add a new page right here. Your users will then be able to navigate through these reports, pages, which I will show you later. Right. So once, let's say, if I was talking about the data source, right? So you can have the data source at the page level, report level, or at the component level, component being that chart. So let me go back to page 1 here. To add a data source, when you add a data source to report level, it's available for all charts and reports. So the hierarchy is you add it to report and anything underneath will have access to it. If you add anything at the bottom level, it doesn't go up. So any coloring, any formatting that you think about in Google Data Studio. So let's say if I have to add a data source to report level, I can go File and Report Settings. This will open up this panel right here where I can select a data source. And let's say I want to add master view to this report. Now that is available at that report level. Okay. So let's say now I go to page 2 and I want to add a pie chart. So add a chart and I go to pie chart, put it right here. It uses that data source and gives me a pie chart. So page 1 contains this, page 2 contains this. Right? I have 2 charts on 2 different pages. I can make a component available on all the pages if I desire to do so. In order to do that, I can simply right click and say make report level. That means this component is now available on all the pages. If I add a new page, that is still available. So you can change and say, I don't want this. I want this to be on all the pages. I can do that easily. Okay. Once you're done, let's say you put in another chart here. I'm just going to focus on page 1. And let's say I put another chart here. And this time I'm putting a time series, right? And then I want to add, let's say I'm going to add a text here and I call it, oops, where did it go? Represent Academy sample. Okay. I can format this, right click, make it bold, make it bigger, too big, change it. Okay. Move this. I'm going to move this a little bit lower here. Okay. And then I'm going to add another chart and I'm going to call it total so that I can get total sessions. All right. New users. So let's say this is how my chart looks like. Once I give this chart to my users, then they will be able to see it. The way how it's going to look for your users is you click on view. Once you click on view, then you get the view of that chart, how it's going to look for your users. This is what they will see. To go back and edit the chart, you have to click on edit. Right? You're back into making the changes for your chart. Now, I don't like the look and feel of this chart, right? This report. It's kind of very bland. What if I want to provide the colors of my color schemes of my company, right? In order to do that, you can click on extract themes from images and give it exactly the color you want. So say you pick your logo or whatever you want. I'm going to pick this color. Once you do that, it gives me options to format my data. You can see different options. Let's say I pick this and I apply it. Now that color scheme is applied to my reporting. You can customize and pick any themes. There are several themes available for you. So you can pick any of these themes, or whatever theme you are using, you can customize it further. So let's say if I don't like this color, I want to use this or this, I can simply click from here. So that's how you format it. Okay. I'm going to stop right here and wait for any questions so far. Any questions? No. All right. Oh, right here. So in order to go back to the data panel, you can click on any of these charts. Now I'm going to spend a little bit time. Now you understand overall, like how to format it, how to bring charts, how all these things work, the colors and stuff. Now I'm going to spend a little bit of time on these charts. So remember when I put this component right here, I said I want sessions. However, by default, Google picked users. What if I want sessions here? I don't want just users. In order to do that, need to click the component and look at the data panel, right? In this data panel, you'll see new users is the metric that it is showing. In order to use a different metric, you simply click on this and find the metric that you want to use. I want to use session. So I'm going to go down. I'm typed in session and I'm going to pick the right metric. So here's my sessions. I click on it. And now I am looking at the sessions. What if I want to actually see users as well? What do I do in that scenario? I can place another component similar to this and use users, or I can go ahead and copy this and paste it and just go ahead and change this to users or new users, whatever that metric was, users or new users. So I've got users and sessions. Clicking on this will actually open this panel. So that's how you can actually change what you're seeing in here. Similarly, pick any other chart. I'm seeing page title here. What if page title doesn't make sense to me? I want to see page URL as well. What do I do in that scenario? Then I go and change the dimension because dimension is what I'm trying to change. I'm okay with new users being shown here. Hi, David. And in that scenario, I'm just going to click on add dimension and pick the URL, or actually it's page. It's called page. You have to know what these metrics are called so that, or metrics or dimensions are called so that you can easily find them. All your metrics and dimensions that you have from that data source are available for you to pick from. And they are listed here as well. So you'll see all the fields that are in your data source listed right here. You can pick from any of these for your charts and graphs. So in this scenario, I'm going to add dimension and look for page. So go down, find the right one. That's the page. And now I have added page title, and number of new users. So let's say I want to move this here, expand this. Once you select it, you can expand it. You can expand the center one. Oh, you have to click right here and then expand it. Go ahead and make it bigger so you can see more lines if you would like. And here you have it. So you can now see page title, page, and new users. So you can change anything that you want right here by adding dimension. Similarly, if you want sessions here as well, then click on add metric, and then let's pick sessions. Go down, find sessions, and now you have sessions as well. Okay. Any questions? No questions. All right. Maybe you guys are already familiar with this stuff. Okay. So once you do that, what if you want, this is, remember, this is for last 28 days, where I said default date range is auto. Auto is defaults to 28 days. What if I want to change it to last month or last 30 days? In that scenario, you can click here and then go and change it to custom. And then click on the calendar object and change the date range from right here. Whatever date you want. I'm going to leave it for 28 days for now. Okay, you can click outside those components to go out or click on cancel. What if I want my users to actually control that rather than me controlling it? Like what days I want to see it, I want my users to control that. In that scenario, you can add a control, which is called date range control. Go ahead and put that date range control and make sure it looks nice and all, when you're formatting. I'm just throwing these things here, but you'll spend time looking at those things. Well, you have a date range control. Now go ahead and click on view. And this is where your users will be able to do the similar stuff. They will be able to change the date, and that date will be applied to your charts. So let's say if I want to only see, or I want to see it for this year, go ahead and apply it. And you'll notice these numbers changed, but this one did not. Because when I was changing it, level date on this component. Any component that has a custom date applied won't be affected by users control. In order for me to apply that here, let me go click on edit, click on this component and change it back to auto. Okay. Now go back to view and change this date to this year and click on apply. Did this change or no? Let's see, January, still not changing. Let's go back. Default date range. Yeah. Something's wrong. I'm just going to go back, add in the chart right here. This should pick up. If that happens, you pick it up from here. And I'm going to change this to page. And I'm going to remove. To remove anything, let's say I don't want date here, I can simply hover over the dimension or metric. Dimension and URL. So that should do the page title that have home in them are showing up here. All the metrics are they can use anything they want. So this is where I said, for understand what do you want your users to do? What story do you want them to get out from this? If you give too many controls, having a great understanding of what your users want, only give them that option. The more options you expose, the difference for a client. And they gave something they found interesting and they put it in the chart. I didn't realize they put it in the chart. We were in the meeting. What I'm gonna, okay, maybe now you can. Can you guys hear me now? I'm just gonna give it 2 minutes because there is a delay in when I speak and when you guys hear. Mark or Jolie? Hello? Can you hear me? Say yes, you can or you can't. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right. So yes, I was talking about the Venn diagram. It's not there yet. There might be some community controls here. You can explore by clicking here and see if those are. If not, I'm sure Google Analytics will be adding because that's part of your, like you said, GA4, it's there, like the cross device information. So you might be able to find right here, my by first. I haven't used it, so I do not know. You can click it, allow, and then your chart will be available. You can place it wherever you want. And well, I'm not sure what the metrics look like. I think it has to be changed. So rather than date, let's say if I call it users, I'm not sure what. I'll have to play with it. So I can't say which metric is going to work. But yeah, you have community controls that you can use. Maybe I can play with it and bring you that next time we do this training. Okay. Any other questions? But yeah, bunch of community controls. These are third-party controls that are provided. You can take a look at them. Make sure to read instructions on how to create those kind of maps. Some of them seem pretty good. I like this one, Sunburst right here. But you have to again go back to why do you want to do this? Gauge is another one. I think this will be useful, and this is by Data Studio. This will be useful if you are showing your progress towards a goal. I'm definitely going to look into this. It's not by default, but it's there in the community charts. Go back and think, why do you want to do something, and will that make sense or create more questions? Sometimes people go overboard with creating charts and graphs that actually create more problems for them. Like I said before, don't put anything that you don't want them to know. If you create a chart, then you have to explain the chart. If it's not intuitive, people are going to question and then might lose interest in whatever you're providing. So it has to be very, very clear. I mean, I was looking at election results. Some of the news channels were showing very good graphs and charts, like there is a map and exactly what's going on. It was very cluttered in some of them, and you have to like go, okay, what's the story here? Okay, that's what they're showing me. But some were very clear. This is what's happening. This is what we're counting. Here is the result. So think about that. What is the story? What is mentally you want users to know when they look at this report? What do you want them to see? And I have a full course that I go through in my Become a Digital Analyst, where I talk about different visualization tactics or strategies on what to do, and how do you make users focus on those things that you want them to show. There are some contrast that you can do with the background, and there are certain things that how you use your fonts, etc. It's very useful if you are going to be in data visualization and providing these reports. I highly, well, it's my course, but there are others as well. You can buy certain books and stuff that will show you how to create these visualizations so that you can tell the right story. It's very, very critical. Anybody can go in and learn Google Data Studio, put a bunch of charts and stuff. But really valuable thing is, and this is where you'll start to make more money rather than just providing charts, is what's the story. Take users through that journey, that visualization. Why do you remember all those stories that you heard in as a kid. You had books taking you through that journey. Little Red Riding Hood, Cinderella, all those. When I talk about those, you don't hear words or numbers. You see those visualizations, pictures, right? That's what you want your users to go through. And it's an art, not just putting numbers. Cool. Any other questions? No? All right. If you don't have any questions, I will send you a link to this recording so that you can see what we went through, those who missed. David, I think you joined late. Maybe Jolie joined late as well, or not sure. But yeah, if you join late, you can watch this recording or keep it there. Like I said, I have this course, the full Google Data Studio course in the membership. So if you're not a member, I highly recommend. There is an entry-level membership where you can get 15 courses on Google Analytics, Google Data Studio, Google Optimize, A/B testing, so entry-level courses. And then I have advanced level courses in the Pro membership. And those who don't like self-serving or going through the courses, then there is a full program called Become a Digital Analyst that walks you through everything you need, whether you're a freelancer working and trying to get into the field of analytics or even digital marketing, that you, because everything is becoming data driven. So I walk you through all these things. Everything is covered. And I can guarantee you that's the only program in the whole world that goes and takes you through that journey with practical experience. There is nobody else. And I teach this for, courses for various universities as well as Digital Analytics Association, but don't go in that depth that I go through on this Optizen Academy, platform. Cool. I'm going to stay here. If you have any questions, anything that you want to see, please let me know. I still have 5 more minutes remaining, so I'll stay here for 5 more minutes. If not, then I'll see you in the next training. Feel free to send me any suggestions on what trainings would you want, anything that you would like. Let me show you extract themes. I really like playing with this one. So let's say if I want some other colors, I'm going to pick another color here. Let's see what this does. I think colors start to show up when you actually look at right here, pie chart. I don't like pie chart. I mean, this is too much data for a pie chart. You won't use page title in your pie chart. And that's another one. I mean, you have to be very, very careful with what you use in pie chart. That's in browsers. That might work. And then Safari. Cool. Yeah, this looks much better. You can put the number here. This is another one I like. This is actually a good way of showing numbers, but it's sometimes hard to read when you have too many things, but it gives you a good overview on how much one particular thing is taking up. Let's say if there is an operating system, yeah, device, maybe device is there, device category. Yep, desktop is the most used one, and then you have mobile. All right, go ahead and play with it. When will the GA4s be up and running? GA4 course is actually already being updated every day, pretty much. I'm adding new lectures. So if you want to go ahead and sign up for that, you can't expect it to be completed like within next few days, but you can ask me questions and I will make sure your questions get answered. So if you are signed up and you have a question on GA4, I will answer that and make sure I prepare a lecture. So that's how I'm doing it. So people who are asking me questions, how do I do that? I put a lecture for that or help you at that point. So it's going to take some time. I mentioned this earlier because there's so many things in GA4. And also Google is changing a bunch of stuff as well. It's not fully released, right? But it's available for you to be the uh, early adopter, learn it. If you are a freelancer, this is where the opportunity lies because a lot of people have questions and you can actually be the one providing that support. Of course, I have the course, so you'll get the support that you need. So you can sign up today. How many of you are here as freelancers or work internally? Any freelancers here? The reason I keep asking freelancers because I have heard from so many freelancers here that technology landscape is changing. When you're working within a company, sure, it's changing. You have the stakeholders who don't care much as long as you provide that value. As a freelancer, they are seeking out, those internal folks are seeking out somebody who has played with it, somebody who can take off that burden, and technology is changing. And when it changes, it's very hard to keep track of what's going on. And that is why I am focusing a lot also on freelancers to help them provide that support. That's a different program, which is a freelancer program. You can be there supported by the weekly meetings, monthly, whatever questions you have, those are supported. So you never feel like, hey, I have to learn this. You have somebody who can take care of that. And then all you have to do is make sure you can find new clients and support them. All right, guys, we are at time. So I am going to turn this off. And if you still have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and also send me feedback or what other trainings you would like to see so that I can make sure I line up those things. So what I'm doing here is there is some training that's provided by me. I'm also lining up a lot of industry folks and people, the tool providers, so that they can come and showcase their tool. However, that's not going to be a sales pitch from them, which is very, very clear. Like, hey, I want to see the value and make sure you just don't pitch your tool because there will be discussion about what other tools can solve that problem. So that's what we're going to be doing. Not a sales pitch, overview of tools, technology, processes that you can use to take your learning to the next level. All right. That's all then. Thank you, guys. Bye.